and welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about the Atlantic, not about Larry, not really about this disturbance either, but another disturbance in probably the next 10 days that could be impacting the Gulf Coast. Now this disturbance here, disturbance number 1, could impact the Gulf Coast, but the formation chance through 5 days is 30%, and if it does form, it'll form close enough to the Gulf Coast where we shouldn't be seeing a major hurricane. Sure, we may have a Category 1 hurricane, maybe even a low Category 2, but we shouldn't see any major hurricanes out of this disturbance. And the GFS currently shows a tropical storm out of this, and even with that, a weak tropical storm. So, we do have currently Hurricane Larry, which is a major hurricane, Category 3 at the moment, is expected to go up to a high Category 4, possibly even Category 5. And let's just move on to the GFS here. So, here's Larry, here's the disturbance number 1. So, as we start through here, you can see Larry taking its route, as well as disturbance number 1, picking up some steam, low pressure forms in the Gulf of Mexico. Larry continues its course, but disturbance number 1 does have trouble maintaining any strength or a consistent area of low pressure. As it gets toward the coastline, disturbance number 1, it does form a low pressure system, which is extremely weak, 1009 millibars, but it does start to pick up some intensity right along the coastline and ends up making landfall in southeast Louisiana as most likely a tropical depression, and again in Florida and Alabama as possibly also a tropical depression. Meanwhile, Hurricane Larry just passes by Bermuda, does not make landfall with any of the actual strong winds, but does clip Newfoundland and Labrador, but mostly just Newfoundland. Now, disturbance number 1 does track across the eastern U.S. and could cause a little bit of trouble for North Carolina as it moves by, but here is the storm that I really want to talk about today. This low pressure system right here that forms crosses over the Yucatan as most likely a tropical depression or a tropical storm. It probably would have formed at this point, giving it the entirety of the Gulf of Mexico to work with. Now, this storm does intensify quickly into a 983 millibar, most likely Category 2, Category 1 to 3 hurricane. So, it makes landfall in south central Louisiana, and basically moves straight north for a while, gets caught up by the jet stream, and eventually moves off to the east, where more rain is in store for the northeast. This is Sunday, September 19th, and that landfall, which is right here, is Tuesday, September 14th. So, of course, we do have plenty of time with this system, but it is something to look at. Yet again, we have more disturbances here. That is something good to kind of have in the back of our minds. So let's just go to the winds and move into the southeast U.S. So at landfall, after landfall, it goes down to a tropical storm, but during its run, you could see areas on the northeast, or just the northern side of the storm that has Category 2 hurricane strength. So with this, we just have to watch out, and we have seen storms in the past, again, such as Ida, which rapidly develop in the Gulf of Mexico and eventually make landfall. Normally in Louisiana. It always seems to be in Louisiana. We haven't really had many landfalls outside of there. In the past 2 years, we had Sally and Hannah, but that's pretty much it. So it always seems to be in Louisiana, which sucks for them, right after the brutal devastation of Ida, potentially having another hurricane hit the state would be devastating on top of devastating, and would be very sad to see. So Of course, this is not definite. Things could change. We're 10 days out. So, by that standard, we don't have to worry yet. The time to worry is probably about a week from now, right as the storm's approaching and starting to get into that rapid intensification phase. But until then, this is something that we do have to track. I will be closely monitoring this, especially since this entire coastline has gotten into a very vulnerable state after Ida. So I will be watching this system, as well as if you live in southern Louisiana, just keep this in the back of your mind during the cleanup. Hey, let's take a safer approach, or let's be cautious enough now, knowing that there's a possible second hurricane coming. So, just a thing to think about, as well as to track, but no concern yet. But that is all I have for today. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, subscribing, and hitting the bell. But that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.